All right, thanks, guys. I'm Adam McPherson. Pleasure to be joined by George Hypolite. George, thanks for stopping by today.
Anytime.
So I want to talk about, so far, 3-1 season. Not too bad. I want to first talk about the first three games. What kind of preparation did you guys have? What were you guys doing that made you so successful right off the bat?
Sometimes it's a combination of buying into things and schemes and game plans and matchups. There's a lot of different things that go into it. I think that in the first 3 weeks we did a really good job. We kind of had 2 weeks to prepare for two of the teams, and we had to prepare for Eastern Washington in about 4 days, which is not normally. Normally we get 6 to 7 days to prepare for a team. But we really battled, and we got through those first three games pretty well, and we played pretty well. But unfortunately, we got snake bitten a little bit in the last one.
Yeah, and then Florida State. Let's talk about that for a little bit. I mean, you guys, had the momentum going into the game. Obviously, Florida State, a very solid football team. What were some of the things that maybe they were doing, or you weren't doing, that kind of swung that a little bit?
It kind of just comes down to, there were some situations where there's some one-on-one matchups and some things that, they did and they made plays and we didn't. The game wasn't really that complicated from that sense. No one really dominated anyone. There were times where we played really, really well, and there were times that they played really, really well. What it came down to, there were a couple times where, on defense we didn't fit up right. They, made us, the first drive, the last drive, and, they made us pay for it. And on offense, we kind of gave them the ball a little bit. But, things like that happen in a game. Generally that's what against two close teams who are pretty evenly matched. It's going to come down to, can you make the play or can't you make the play? In our first 3 games, we seemed to make the plays when we needed to, and in that game, unfortunately, we did.
Obviously, you're playing the Texas Longhorns. Now, last time was 2005, rough game against them. What have you thought about that game at all?
Not really. 2005 was 3 years ago now. And you don't want to dwell on the past, or otherwise you'll become it. So, you kind of try to move on. There's a lesson learned that, if you don't prepare properly for a team and, you don't give them the respect they deserve, things like that happen. That game was just a really weird game. It's kind of like the perfect storm. They played as good as they could play on offense, as good as they could play on defense, and as good as they could play on special teams. They scored 10 touchdowns. That's not very, that's not crazy. It doesn't happen by accident. So I think it was a little bit of, they were unbelievably prepared and hitting on all cylinders, and we weren't. Mm-hmm. And with a team that has 24 guys who are currently playing in the NFL, things like that'll happen.
Now, obviously, you played in that game. You're one of just a few players that have seen Texas before. Have you changed kind of your preparation to kind of talk to the team to get them ready for this game at all?
I think the importance of the game, it goes without saying. I think what it really comes down to is Texas is a team who doesn't do a lot of things and are very good at what they do. Mm-hmm. And in that sense, they're very predictable. And in that sense, they're very, very good at what they do. And, they usually, force their will on people. So, what I've just tried to tell the young guys and the guys who haven't played them again, it's just going to be a long game. You're going to know what's coming, and it's going to be, hey, the play's going to break down. Can we make a play or can they make a play?
How has the team as a whole changed between the 2005 team that we saw and the team that we're currently seeing right now?
It's just a different mentality. With the new coaching staff brings on different philosophies and different ways of getting things done. And I think that our new coaching staff is more about, hard work, toughness, really the, blue collar mentality and attacking things that way. And in that way, our team has really taken on that personality, as opposed to, in 05, we're just a different team. We're kind of reeling a little bit. And, at that point in time, we were, everyone's kind of shaking their heads. Hey, you go from the number 18 team in the country to losing 3 straight, and people are saying you're backed into the Big 12 championship game. So I think that, the biggest thing is, I think now we're much more equipped at dealing with adversity.
Looking at Texas and looking at the things they do, and you were saying they don't do a lot of things, but the things they do, they do well. How are you guys preparing for that?
Just like we prepare for any other team, I think that unlike, most weeks, these guys have some very big tendencies, and, when they line up in certain formations, what they're going to do. It's just, can you stop it? I think that, the biggest thing is, in games like this, you have to work on execution. Tackling when you get there, catching the ball when you can, things like that. You don't really have to, necessarily prepare for an entire scheme or game plan, or say, oh my God, we have to make sure we run this coverage and that play. We really don't have to worry about things like that. More importantly, we have to worry about, number one, tackling, making sure we put pressure on the quarterback, stopping the run, playing blocks with the right technique, details like that.
Obviously, we've seen this team change. How have you changed as a player over your 4 years here?
I think you just get older. I've seen a lot in my days here in college. I think that, I was talking to a lot of, former athletes here, guys who play football, guys that have really taken me under their wing, and they say, I just came at a time when, things were rough, and I saw a lot. I went from, in high school I lost a total of like 5 games in 4 sports, and I came to college and I lost 6 in the first season, and then I lost 10, and then last year we lost 7, so, but through all that you really realize that, defeat's going to come. It's how you deal with it, and it's how you get over things. It's how you push through things, and that really shows what kind of person you are and what kind of character you have. Can you still be a great person, not only in football or still work the same in football, but in the rest of your life when those things happen in your life?
You've grown up. There's been a lot of adversity. How has that changed you as a player and as a person?
I think as a player, the number one thing is you don't sweat the little stuff anymore. I think that you just realize you gotta keep coming. It doesn't matter the score. It doesn't matter who you're playing, what the decal on the helmet is, what the name on the back of the jersey. It just keep coming, and you play for something different. And now it's not just about wins and losses, but there's an era of excellence that I play for now. And I think that if I would have had it when I was younger, I probably would have been a lot better player at an earlier time in my career. But something you got to go through a few things. You got to get a few scars on your back to notice. I think as a person, I'm just at a different place. I'm a lot more calm, a lot more humble, and things just are a lot easier.
And how have you taken, that calm, collected self that, that you've gained? How are you able to bring that back and teach the younger players, hey, don't sweat the small stuff. Next week's another week, another game.
Well, I think the number one thing that you try to instill in young guys is it's not the end of the world when you win, and it's not the beginning of the world when you lose. You're not at the top of the mountain if you beat a great team. You're not at the bottom of the mountain if you lose to somebody you were supposed to beat. It's about staying even keel and, staying comfortable within yourself and doing things, not, trying to be Superman every Saturday when you see a great team come in, and not, mailing it in when you see a team you're supposed to beat come in. It's just about doing things for that excellence. And I think that young guys, sometimes get caught up in, you go to class and you hear, some of the students, say, oh, you guys are going to kill this team. And it's about understanding how to rise above that and really let people know that, hey, anybody can beat anybody. It's college football, and you have to prepare for everyone the same.
And we've heard you say almost week in and week out, I'm not looking a couple weeks ahead. Next week is Texas Longhorn. Is it really that easy for you just to say, I can't look down the road, I've got to stay focused on this game?
For me personally, I'm just really locked into it. I was really blessed to come from the kind of program and system where that's what we did, and that's what I'm used to. So it's really the only thing I know. For a lot of players, it is very difficult, especially when you have family coming to games and things like that. And there are other aspects that creep in from your personal life and onto the football field. For me, I just, that's just the way I am. You really can't worry about the next game if you don't take care of what's in front of you, because that's really all we have promised as football players. What people, really don't have a conception of, but what we do is we're all one play away. Mm-hmm. One play away from never playing this game again. So you don't want to worry about things you can't control. All you can control is how you prepare this week and how you play on Saturday.
And we've seen that mentality kind of really harnessed with this team through the Dan Hawkins era. Has he been able to say or do anything different that's kind of instilled that?
I think that Coach Hawk has done a great job of wearing his heart on his sleeve and letting us know how he's feeling and what's really going on, and I think that kind of transparency from a coach is very valuable. So I think in that sense, yeah, he's definitely, made it so that this team really understands that you don't worry about the past, you don't worry about the future, you take care of what's in front of you. His famous line is, be here now. When you're in class, be in class. When you're at home, be at home. When you're on the football field, be on the football field. Don't let those other things affect you when you're doing something else. Give 100% of yourself wherever you are.
Where do you see this team in the year to come, 2-3 years to come?
I'm very excited. I think that, Coach Hawk is getting the kind of guys in here who are ready to compete. He's brought a lot of, the student athletes who won championships here, did a lot of great things, played long times in the NFL back, and that's instilled a sense of tradition that wasn't here when I first stepped on campus. Mm-hmm. And I think that those things are going to, speak volumes. It's a matter of time before, we're back to national prominence where we should be.
And do you see yourself coming back here as, a coach, an advisor, mentor, anything like that?
Coach, no. Advisor, probably not. mentor, I think I'll always be a part of Colorado. It's played a very special role in my life, and I'll always be greatly in debt to the fans, my teammates, and the community at large.